All right, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and today, for session 9 of my KDM custom campaign, I'm going to be showing you Lantern Year 3, the Hunt phase. And again, how I do the Hunt sessions that I show is it actually includes the departing survivor section of the settlement phase. I do out of order the recording the survivors and settlement data and returning survivors, just so I can show you the strategy of how I'm going into this hunt, show you the hunt, and then do the strategy setup for the showdown. Will be this session. All right, let me make sure sound's coming out good on Twitches. And then let's see if we're good to go. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, sounds good. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is something that I modified, well, not modified, forgot to do last session, and then I'll go into the strategy, what I currently have here. So what I forgot to do last session was the fact that Isma, who has the Hoarder, it's okay if you can't read this, who had the Hoarder disorder, it affects a returning survivor. And a returning survivor doesn't just count as returning survivor when they first come back, beginning settlement phase. It's for the entire settlement phase until people depart. Which means that she would have stolen one of my archived resources because she's a hoarder. But also gained +1 courage. So that's why she's currently at 4 courage now. Everyone else that I have that's still alive is at 0 courage and understanding, but she's at 4 in both. So she's very, capable, but it just physically and mentally, like she knows a lot of shit, understands a lot of shit, but physically and mentally, her character had just been utterly destroyed. So that's why she's not going to come out unless she has to. That card is essentially done. So what I had given up is one of my broken lanterns, just because I had 3. I don't know what broken lanterns are used for, but obviously not used for anything right now. And I still have 2. And I still have a sinuous and a skull and a lonely ant in my gear storage. Alright, so now I'm going to pick this up so I can show you the individual gear grids and characters that are going to come into battle. So as you know, I had Isma, who's the leader, who's out of commission. I had 2 people die, who you see the X's next to their character sheets. And then I had 3 people new from the settlement that participated in my triathlon of death. And 2 of them have such a bad mental disorder that unless in the future I get rid of a mental disorder, they're out of the game. But Oko is great, and it has really good stats. He just can't participate in this next hunt because he's suffering from seizures. And that disorder, whenever he gets hit in the head, he's knocked down, but it's not terrible. And the fact that he has really good stats with movement and accuracy, he's still a good person to bring. So I'll definitely probably bring him the next whatever happens in Lantern Year 4. So who do I have? So these are I'll show you the miniatures and the strategy for each person. So for Volatile, I'm using my repaired archer miniature. I know Volatile is female. I just wanted, since this person had a lot of the same gear, to use this miniature. And upgrades, this is still using the catgut bow with the clawhead arrow as the first attack if possible. Is rocking a luck bonus by having the puzzle completed for the lucky charm. I gave the headdress, lion headdress, just so it has a little bit of protection to the head, and also gave the frenzy drink. Now again, what the frenzy drink does is allows you to get 1d5 of insanity, and then for the rest of the showdown you have +1 token to speed and the strength, which is really good. What's bad about it is you can't spend survival for the rest of the showdown. So it's either I use it as a way to finish off the creature, or do it as a last resort when I have no survival left to try to get some hits in before the character dies, is the idea with that. So it's really situational, but really good. Because the only way you can make the frenzy drink is from the lion testes. That's why it looks kind of testicular, I should say. And Volatile is rocking some pretty good stats with +2 luck by default, so we'll have 3 luck in the fight. Our next one we have is Eltcore, which is one of the new people I'm bringing in, who was one of the kids that was born, one of the twins. I gave him this miniature just because even though it's showing an axe, just because we'll be using the Bone Club as well as rocking majority of the set of the White Lion, which this is a White Lion set that's being worn for the armor, so I thought it fit. And this character by default has +2 speed, so we'll get in a lot of great attacks on this new weapon I bought, which is the Bone Club. And one of the reasons why I gave, you also notice this is the only character I have with a full set of armor, because it's the person I want to try to have be in front of the lion to take the hits. And also, if I use the White Lion Coat's ability of Pounce, I can activate the Bone Club after moving 3 spaces instead of having to be stationary. Because Pounce allows you to spend an action and movement to move 3 spaces and then activate a weapon, which means I can activate the Bone Club and ignore Cumbersome, is the strategy I'm trying to do there. And then if I happen to be at a range that doesn't work, then that's why I also have the Bone Blade, that I could just run up to someone and attack. The problem with the Bone Blade is it's not as effective as a weapon as far as strength. But the fact that I can use it in a situation in which I otherwise would not be able to hit. But if I hit something that's indestructible, I believe is what the word is, then it'll break because it is frail. And also with the Lion Gauntlets, when I pounce, I get +1 accuracy. So if I pounce, which I ideally want to do, it allows me to move with the Bone Club and then attack, and then get +1 to strength and +1 to accuracy, which would be great. All right. Next up over here, we have Citroni, who just one of the parents, and given one of the starting miniatures, because besides that, Shard almost looks like a Qatar, kind of. And he has, as you know, has a lot of stats because he was one of the starting people, and then also, I believe, witnessed the death, and then also witnessed the birth of his twins. So he's got +2 evasion and +2 luck by default. Using the Qatar will actually be luck 3, so that'd be a really good one to attack with. He's rocking some head protection, and then Dryad Acanthus in order to protect losing the Skull Helm. Because I lose the Skull Helm if I get a severe injury to the head, and this prevents a severe injury. Attacking with the guitar, and then also has the support of bandages. I also forgot to mention that the Volatile has support of Whisker Harp, who can disable a mood of the monster. And the support that Eltcore can do is the Roar. It takes survival, which sucks, but then you can give everyone on your team for the rest of the round +2 strength if they're insane, and then if they're not insane, gain 1 insanity. So that's some support abilities as well. And then Snahavium, who's the other parent, and that's why she has a bunch of stats, and she also witnessed a lot of death. She was, if you remember, was one of the remaining survivors when my team got butchered when we fought the lion last time. So she has a 3 bonus to luck and 2 bonus to evasion, so her luck is actually 4. And also has, everyone has last man standing except for Eltcore, which allows them to, if they're the last person in the showdown that's surviving, they can't be knocked down or bleed for the rest of the showdown, which is really good. So I don't have a complete wipe, hopefully. And Snahavium also has Crazed, Whenever she gets a perfect hit, gets +1 insanity. So similar, I'm using my female model starting just because has a shard, looks like a guitar. Basically has the same build as Citroni as far as weapons. Just does not have a bandage. And you notice both characters also have a Founding Stone. Not that I want to use it. You really don't. But push comes to shove, it's a guaranteed hit and auto crit. So it's really something that's better for like a Nemesis Encounter, but I'm rolling it just in case. And I do own 3 of these. I'm just currently only running 2. And that's all the characters in a nutshell. Alright, so I'll get the characters on the board, and then we will begin the hunt. I already have the hunt board, as you see below here, set up. And I have all of the resources I could get, decks shuffled, so we are ready to go. Hopefully I remember not to pick up anybody by their base. I mean, by not the base, so I don't damage anything. Just force a habit. Alright, here's the team. So again, here you have Votel, Eltkor, and then the 2 parents. And these are the twins. And the parents, we have Snahavium and Citroni. So I need to have the order on who's going to be discovering stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I left a space in their gear grid, because if they find an item, they can only pick it up if they have space to equip it. So that's why I also made sure I left at least 1 space. So for first, I'm going to be the person that can survive the hits. So we're going to do Eltkor first, followed by Snahavium, and then Citroni, and then Votel. We'll do it in that order. Okay? So now the next thing I need to do is see if anything triggers when people depart before we begin the hunt. Any bonuses. Okay. So I'll check each person's gear grid individually. So the first thing is I have Hovel, so when everyone departs, they get +1 survival. So everyone goes to 3. I mean, everyone goes up 1. So that's 2 to 3. This goes 1 to 2. This goes 1 to 2. And this one goes 1 to 2. Okay. So that was for the Hovel. Now I look at each person's stuff individually to see if they have anything having to do with depart. Obviously, my cat was on the game board. Okay, I don't see anything. And you can tell because in bold letters you see depart. So, Eltkor has depart. When you depart, gain +1 survival. So he goes now from 2 to 3. And again, my survival limit right now is 4, which was fantastic. That was a huge boon from my last settlement phase. The fact that I raised my survival limit from 2 to 4. So all of my survivors have up to 4 survival points per hunt and showdown, which is awesome. All right. Depart get +2 survival, so it goes from 3 to 4 because again that's the max right now. And then depart +2 survival, so it goes from 2 to 4. So everyone right. So right now we have someone at. We have 4 survival, 3, and 2. And I have some other abilities that trigger on arrival, which means when you start the showdown. So I'll definitely do those bonuses at the end of the stream, so that everything's ready to go. So when we do the showdown for the next stream, we just do the boss fight. All right. So we have departed. We are ready here. All right. So let's do the hunt. Let me get a little bit more coffee. Well, it's not coffee, it's iced coffee with vanilla. I wanted caramel, but all I could find at the store was vanilla. That's pretty good. I get it by the carton because it's cheaper. And I don't need it to be heated because thing is iced. Aha. All right. So what I'm really hoping for in this hunt, fingers crossed, is that I kind of want the lion to move, so I have to encounter Overwhelming Darkness just so I can trigger that event before Lantern Year 4. And I also want to encounter more of these just because I really want to get that lion cub again, because that's free resources. And I really want to complete the white lion set before my first Nemesis encounter, before something bad happens. Really want to do that. Because I would get not only a boon, well, let me explain what I mean. I would get a 1 armor bonus to all pieces, so there would be value 3 instead of 2. And then also, I would get that special ability for the Katars. The fact that you're more effective in combat. But that's kind of interesting too, because honestly, this pouncing ability works fantastic with the Bone Club. But the whole set works better with the Katar because you get the Katar bonus. So it's almost like I want the White Lion set for one of these people and have them have both Katars. But then for this person, I really want to have that just the White Lion coat. But we'll see. In any case, I want to complete the set because it's good. It's a free bonus, the pieces you're already collecting. We'll see. But right now, this ability works great with the club. But it's like the Katars, if someone has both, they can combine. They can only use one of the weapons in a battle, but they can combine both values of the speed. So it'd be speed 4 instead of speed 2. Okay, what's it doing? Drinking some coffee, and then we'll do it. Because if I complete the set for the, I'll show it to you right quick, since I'm talking about it. If I complete the White Lion set, you'll get an extra 1 armor to all hit locations, and then your weapons are your claws. +1 speed and +2 strength when attacking with guitars or daggers. Which seems small, but think about when you add it together. That means if someone has 2 guitars and a +1 bonus, they'd be doing 5 hit rolls. So it can hit 5 times, potentially. And it has +2 to strength. And the guitar's strength right now is 3, which would make it a 5, which would make it as powerful as the Bone Club. So that's really good. But it is really a great ability to be able to move with the Bone Club. So that's why I'm like, well, do I keep the White Lion stuff just on the with the Bone Club? I don't know. Or maybe you give someone the Bone Club and the guitar, and just 1 guitar? I don't know. But it's always good when you complete a set anyway, because you get an extra bonus for doing nothing. And actually, one of the best bonuses is actually the Screamed Armor, because you get +2 to all hits, which is fantastic. And technically, the Screamed Armor has a movement thing as well. It just doesn't move as far as the White Lion. So technically, the person with the Bone Club could use this armor, which is off the Screamed Antelope. We'll see. Okay, let's begin. All right, so you have to declare who's helming each movement, and it always alternates. So I'm just gonna move from top to bottom, and I'll advance forward so you know who it is. So we're moving into this space. Okay. So this one is, I like I said, I really want White Lion Club so bad. Like really what I need is white fur and hides is what I need to complete the set. That's what I need. So like White Lion pieces regardless are good because you can use them for multiple things, but I need 2 furs, I need 2 white furs and then 2 of just any hide. So that's what I need to complete the set. Okay, anyway. marked territory. See if it focuses. Maybe. If it doesn't, okay, I'll just read it to you guys. I'll just read it. The White Lion has marked this area. If any survivor has 3+ understanding, they realize the area is covered in ammonia. I don't believe anyone has any understanding. Snahavium has 1 courage, but everyone else is at 0. Okay. If they have not innovated it yet, the survivor settlement gains the ammonia innovation. Wow! We just got a free innovation. Fucking amazing. We discovered urine of the lion and realized, hey, maybe we can use urine to do shit. Okay, so I will get out the ammonia innovation, which we immediately get, and then roll random hunt event. That's what it says at the bottom, which is roll a D100 to see what happens. All right, so let me get out the innovation. Cool, man. Free innovation. Ammonia is what's required in order to make more advanced stuff. I forget if it's either weapon crafting or making hides, but more advanced gear, you need ammonia. That much I know. I'll tell you on the settlements if you need ammonia for something. On the different settlement cards, you'll see ammonia required stated on. Alright, so I'm looking for ammonia. I don't see it here, so it must be in my core deck that I've made. So that means I'll have to reshuffle it before I use it. Let me find it. Where'd it go? I got cards everywhere. Ammonia. But also, to note is, since I'm learning the ammonia innovation, I then also need to add the ammonia consequences to the deck as well. So that is a step, because when you get this, you then have to trigger this event here. All right. So I'll just put it here so I know it's self I need to shuffle. Everything here is shuffled. Anything here means I need to shuffle. Okay, so we learned ammonia. Let's see if it's there we go. There we go. A pungent, bilious substance ideal for crafting leather and treating wounds. Departing survivors get +1 survival. Cool. So this is another way now that all of my survivors by default could get another survival whenever they go out. This is actually huge for that. As well as now I can make stuff requiring ammonia and add ammonia consequences to innovation deck. All right, so let me update this. So we learned ammonia. And it's depart +1 survival. So to note that this doesn't add to my survival limit, it gives everyone a survival point when they depart from the settlement. So it's huge. So that means every time my people depart, they'll always get +2 survival. And every time they arrive with the harp, they get +1. So everyone will always have 3 survival. But then I can do noses or acanthus to give them the extra boost. That's awesome. All right, so now let me add that to the deck. Well, add that to our innovations that we've learned, which we have 3 + 2 principles. Okay. And then I need to add all of the ammonia consequences. So I need to look for those. And then I'll add it to this deck. So I'm going to look for it, pull them out, then look a second time, make sure I didn't miss any, and then I'll show it to you. Wow, bloodletting, that sounds cool. Because you don't always have the same number of consequences for each one of these, so that's why I need to make sure that I get them. because you add them to the deck, which would change your ratio of the chance of getting certain other innovations. But also adds more cool stuff you can learn. So, more advanced stuff. Alright, so it looks like I only pulled out 2. But I'll check again to make sure there's only 2. Ammonia Consequence. Because sometimes these cards stick, so definitely want to give it 2 passes. Okay, so it looks like it's only 2? Only 2. Okay. Technically, you don't shuffle this, you mill. What I need to shuffle is that, which I could shuffle that later. Alright, so the 2 that are going to be added to the innovation deck is Bloodletting. It looks like it does some cool shit and has an endeavor action. And then also Lantern Oven, which then you learn how to heat stuff and get a bonus to survival. So good stuff. So that's added to this deck, which needs to be shuffled, which I'll shuffle later. And we learned Ammonia. So now we roll D100 in addition, with the white being the 10s. Okay, so we rolled a 48. So now I'm looking for event 48 on the table. One sec. Okay, 48. Death Wager. The survivors are awoken. So it's like they look at ammonia, they realize what they can do with it, and they take a day. And they camp there, story-wise. So what happens, okay? The survivors are awoken by a traveler hidden in a deep cloak. The traveler pulls back its hood and reveals a deformed face with 2 chins curving away from each other, each with its own grinning mouth. That's what it looks like, by the way. In a dreamlike state, the survivors all understand this entity is known as the Gambler. The Gambler. And if they speak, they will die. Until this event is completed, event being what happens on the square, only the event revealer may speak. If any other player speaks, their survivor turns cold, dead. And just so you know, I'm still reading what this is, so I haven't started yet. Plus, I'm the revealer. This really pertains more in a group play, but I'll still, if I fuck up and talk about another character, then they'll die. The survivors must play the gambler's game or be trapped with him forever. So they're in this dreamlike state. They can't speak or they'll die, and they have to play this game or they'll be trapped in the state forever. So each survivor rolls 1d10, and then something happens to each survivor. So, I'm going to do the actions and not talk until the event is over. If I talk from this point forward, once I roll the dice, then one of my characters will die. And you guys can hold me to it. Okay? All right, so that's the end of the hunt event. So if you read when I was putting it up to the table, he forces everyone to play the game once. And you could choose to keep playing the game however many times you wish. But if you win the game, you get a luck, and if you lose the game, you probably die. So that was... The one's like, okay, no one to do something stupid. And it's either you can get something fantastic or something terrible. All right, so that was that event. Everybody moved forward. Now it's Snahavium's turn. She'll move forward. Sea of Golden Grass. Fields of golden grass lay ahead. The event revealer may choose to avoid the plains and roll twice on the hunt event table before moving on the hunt board. Otherwise, each survivor gains 1 courage and the event revealer rolls on the table. So, let me see if I understand what this says. If I go through the plains, you get +1 survival, and then something happens as far as potentially engaging the lion early. But if you avoid the plains, then instead of rolling once on the hunt table and doing 1 event, you'll actually do 2 events. Because I actually just want to see more events, I think I might roll... I think I might avoid the plains, actually. And I'm sorry, each survivor would get 1 courage. It's not that they would get 1 survival, they get 1 courage, and then roll. Because, tall grass, you don't know what's there. But then people also don't know if I'm there. So it's dangerous because you can't see. So I think I'm going to go around and see more hunt stuff, because hunt stuff is cool. And I want to get to here if possible. And this is... I mean, everything's a risk in this game, right? Okay, yeah, we're going to go around. So we're going to roll twice, so we'll be doing 2 events. So I'll keep it face down to show that we're doing the first one. So this is 71, because that's always the white one on the left. Found Relic. Amidst the endless stone faces, the event revealer notices an unusual object on the ground. The event revealer investigates and rolls 1d10. If the settlement has records, we will get +6 to the result. I don't think we have anything flagged as records. So I think that's something in particular. So no. All right, so we roll 1d10. The 5. You find a stone heart that pulses with warmth as you hold it in your hands. Gain +1 insanity. The hunt revealer. So Snahavium goes from 7 insanity to 8. And again, you count as insane if you're 3+. All right, so that was the first event. Now we're doing the second event. We English is tough. We rolled a 10 plus a 1, so that's 11. Lantern's a 10. So now we go to number 11. Monster droppings. The survivors find some monster. It makes sense. We found some piss. Then we saw tall grass, which could have been the lion, because lions don't really near grass. We went around it because we want to find the cub. And instead we got visited by some entity in our minds, and then we found some shit. So you expect to find shit, you find piss, right? All right, the monsters find some monster drop. The survivors find some monster droppings, like those of their quarry. The event revealer chooses to either investigate or consume the droppings. That's weird. If the event revealer investigates, gain +1 understanding and roll 1d10. If the event revealer consumes, gain +1 courage and roll 1d10. And so I don't know what each table does. Just like on Sea of Grass, I was like, in reality, I really shouldn't read ahead, but it's really hard because you look at this, you see everything that's on there. You're like, hey, there's grass, tall grass. Is it dangerous? But anyway. All right, so do I want to investigate the poop or eat the poop? I think eating the poop may be bad because it could be poisonous, and I don't know what's in it. So I'll say I investigate, because maybe there's something of use in it that we can utilize. So Snahavian will get... Let me make sure it does right. We'll get +1 to understanding. So now she has +1 courage and... Now she has 1 courage and 1 understanding. All right, and then we roll, of course, which is a 3. You discover just how sickening playing with feces is. Yeah, go figure. Lose 1 survival and roll again on the hunt event table before moving forward. God, so we'll be doing 3 hunt events before moving forward. All right. So she loses 1 survival. So it goes to 3. So that sucks. But welcome the king to death, right? And then what else happened? Lose 1 survival and then roll again on the hunt event table. So now we roll again. And let me make sure there's nothing else for this event on the next page. I believe I just talked about the other option. Okay. So now I do another one. Oh, 2 dice. 47. Banquet trees. A small copse of trees rises over an otherwise lifeless plain. Enticing red fruit hangs from the branches. Each survivor must spend 1 survival to resist the temptation to consume the fruit. Insane survivors and survivors with binge eating disorder must consume. If any survivor has a sickle, they can carve a line through the tree drawing blood, and the fruit instantly sours and ending the event. Otherwise, when you can consume the fruit, something happens. Okay, so if I read this correctly, there is fruit that everyone's tempted to do. So let me read this. Each survivor must spend 1 survival to resist a temptation. Okay. But insane survivors and survivors with binge eating must consume. So if I'm reading that correctly, if you're insane, they're going to want to eat the fruit, not survive and not spend a point to resist, because they're like, I want to do it. I don't want to avoid it. So it's either you want to do it or you don't want to do it. It's either you can't resist doing it because you're insane, or you do one survival to resist. Because it doesn't make any sense to spend one survival to resist, but then insane do it anyway. So I think that's one or the other. This could have been written a little better. Each survivor must spend one to resist the temptation, but if you're insane, they don't resist. They just do it. So, and I believe almost everyone is insane, so let's check. Actually, it's not true at all. So the parents are insane, the children are not. Which means the children will spend one survival and not eat. So Altcore goes 3-2, Volatile goes 2-1. So this sucks because we're blowing survival. For sure. But the parents are both insane. So they'll both eat the fruit, which makes sense because if you think of like the whole Adam and Eve story, like they bit from the apple, you know, they made love, so they're just doing it in reverse order. Yeah. They're about embracing. Okay. So I'm rolling. The children are safe. Now I'll do a Snahavium first. So she rolled a 9. Let me find it again. Where did it go? Where did it go? 9. You belch loudly in satisfaction and walk away. So she's safe. Now I'll do... Whoops, I have the models mixed up. These are safe. Citroni still has to go. That's a 10, same result. Eats the fruit, nothing happens. So the children are like, oh, I don't know. And parents are like, yeah, eat the fruit. But they were okay, so they burned the survival. So unfortunately, I've had 3 different players burn a survival, unfortunately. That's probably one of the reasons why you want to speed up the hunt, so you don't waste survival trying to survive this harsh world. Also true. Okay, so that was the 3rd hunt event we did in that space. So we finally got to the space. So now we're safe. So now we advance to this space, which Citroni is going to do. So it's the hunt event for the space. We got a 12. Destiny Bound. The survivors collectively feel a heightened level of anticipation. Their goal is close at hand. The event revealer gains +1 courage. So this is Citroni. Gains 1 courage. Okay. And then the survivors may skip the next hunt space. If this movement starts the showdown, the survivors ambush the quarry. So this is interesting. Like, you know, we saw piss, and then we saw high grass, which could have had the line, but we couldn't see. So we're like, that's bad news. So we went around, had a vision, ate an apple, saw feces, and then caught the lion from behind. So we're going to skip the next space. But if you move to line space or past, it triggers the hunt event, if I recall. But let me check that, because you can't move backwards. So they're going to skip and ambush and start, is how I'm going to do it. Okay. Unfortunately, we didn't find the cub, and unfortunately, we lost 1 survival practically on everybody. But we'll still have more survival than what we did last hunt, so still a plus. And I don't think we gained anything out of that. A couple people gained A, understanding, or A, courage. I believe that's the only thing that came out of it. It was really more of a loss, losing courage. I mean, losing survival. Okay, so now we start the hunt event. But let me just make sure that I'm playing this correctly. That if you skip the lion, I believe it starts anyway, but let me check. Wow, there's some good pictures of the ladies in these books. I'll tell you what. Okay, how would I do that? Let me go to the hunt. I just want to make sure there isn't a special rule on it or something. Just to be sure. Okay. Because technically we moved into this space, and if we skip the next space, that means we moved to here. So here. I don't know, because according to this, I can move past the lion. Skip the next hunt space. It doesn't say anything if you went past the lion, so I think that's a design flaw. Because all it says is you move toward the lion and try to catch up with it, and you catch up with it, you get it. So I'm going to say that we start the hunt. But we ambush the lion, which is cool, which means we'll take our turn before the lion, which could be good or could be bad because we have to move a far distance. It's more like we can get into an advantageous position when he attacks, most likely. Okay, so now we set up the hunt event. So we did an ambush. We saw urine, and then we're like, oh, the lion's probably in there. So we moved around it, found some more weird shit. Then we found the lion. As opposed to the lion potentially can ambush on us, hiding in the grass, right? Okay. And again, what I plan to do now is set up the strategy for how we're going to do the showdown and how we're going to do that initial encounter, and then that'll be it for the stream. Plus, everyone will get bonuses for starting the showdown. I'll do as well. Okay. And being Friday, it's possible that maybe later today I'll also do the showdown. So, don't worry. But it'll be the next video. Because some weeks I'll have more and some weeks I'll have less. It just depends on time, really. Okay, so first things first. We're ambushing, which is cool. All these cards come off the board. Next up, I'm going to trigger everyone's when they arrive bonuses. If we have any. Okay, so Vothol on arrival from the Stone Nose. Well, a couple things happen. Whisker Harp on arrival, everyone gets +1 survival. But I'll do that when I go to everyone's card. Also remember, add up an extra survival, okay? So he gets +2 survival, +1 insanity. So survival goes to 3, and it gets 1 to insanity. It gets 1 to insanity, yeah. Okay. Next we have Elk Core. to +2 survival, +1 insanity. So now it's at 4 survival, 1 insanity. Volatile is at 3 survival, 1 insanity. Citroni +2 survival, +1 insanity. Is already at 4, so it gets 1 insanity, so it goes to 6. So it's at 4 survival, 6 insanity. And this Nahavium doesn't have anything else here, so it just gets the +1 survival. So she goes from 3 to 4. So actually that worked out really well, because that means I had people pretty maxed out on stats when they departed, but the Whisker Harp and Stone Nose don't trigger to arrival. So if somebody was maxed and took some hits, this helps get them back to full. So the only person at 3 survival is Vottle. 3, 4, 4, 4. So that's really good. Really good. Everyone is, well, in better shape, I should say. I can still roll like shit. I mean, last game, I rolled so many fucking misses. So many. And it wasn't just rolling bad on strength. It was also rolling bad on hits. Like, it was just... not good. Alright, so now we set up the board, and then we'll do the strategy of where we want to go. Okay, so we do have 2 tall grass, but then we also get 2 random terrain as well, which I've already shuffled. So we're going to start with another Nightmare Tree, which most likely I'm going to avoid because that killed my character last game. And yeah, so I'm probably just going to avoid that and probably just use the hide around or force him so when he charges someone, he has limited space to move, probably. And then we also have a dead monster. That's interesting. Like, Nightmare Tree I'm going to avoid because that, you know, they call it Nightmare Tree and someone died getting something from the tree. It was very fitting. So I'm going to avoid this, probably just use it as an obstacle to have advantageous ways to do combat. But the dead monster I'm definitely going to try to loot because I might be able to get resources from the dead monster. So that I'm definitely going to do. Okay. So I'm looking for a dead monster and a Nightmare Tree to add to this. The dead monster looks like almost looks like a fetus. Well, the dead monster is a pretty big space too. I mean, look at that. Well, yeah, because it's a dead monster. It's like it almost looks like a dead lion, actually. It's a huge body. And another Nightmare Tree. Okay. So I'm just gonna move the stuff up so we have space to do. I'll just definitely prioritize whatever I do on this part of the board so it's easier to see. Okay, so we have random, 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 these 2. The white lion always starts here. And then everyone else is 6 spaces away after I place terrain. So let me move this so you can see the other spaces. Okay, so this is the edge of the board. Okay, so the Nightmare Tree set up at least 5 spaces away from all board edges. And it can't be there because that's where the line has to start, and this is impassable. I don't know if you looked at this before, there's like hanging lanterns and other body bits. And one of those bits, somewhere down here, is actually the person that died last game. What, Klingeth or something? Yeah. So he's on the tree. Alright, so it's got to be 5 spaces away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could place it here, for sure. I could place it anywhere basically in the circle that you see here. So since I want to prioritize stuff here, I could have it advantageously be here. So I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could have it closer this way, since if my first turn I'm just going to get in a good position, then that means the line will come to me and maybe I can trap it in the corner. Might be what I try to do. So if I do that, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can actually move it like this and try to trap the lion here. See, it has very little limited movement. So I think I'll try to do that. Get the lion over here. And for my first move, just move people over here so the lion gets over here. So that's what I'm probably going to do. All right. The dead monster, I have to set up adjacent to the monster, unfortunately. It's like the monster was chewing on this body. So adjacent means it has to be on a matching orthogonal, not diagonal space. So I could place it here, or I have to place it here. I want to track the monster to come this direction. If he goes the closest way to approach, if my guys start or move over here during the first move, he's probably going to move this direction because it's closer to move this way than this way. So for that reason, it has to be orthogonal to the monster. So that means I have to place it there. And I do want to get to that. So if I'm kiting the monster, I initially, toward the end of the fight, I want to kite it this way when he's weaker so that I can have somebody loot this body. Of course, I have to start 6 spaces away. That's the other thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other thing I could do, which is really dangerous, is I could have everyone hide back here, and during my first move, I could have like Eldcore loot it, get that initial aggro, and then people can attack from the back here. That way he'll kite this way. That's another strategy. Or I could do something like this, even. No, because the Nightmare Tree is the problem. Because the board's longer this way and narrower this way. Which is an interesting point. I can't... Is this 5 spaces away? Hold on a second. Set up at least 5 spaces away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could do something like that, actually. So I could loot this, get attacked by the monster, and then have people be around here and attacking. But then I'm afraid that he'll knock someone that way. That's why I really don't want to do that. I want to trap the monster if possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spaces away. Wait, am I counting correctly? What counts as away from the board? 5 spaces from all edges. This is only 4 spaces away. So this would be 5. I'm 5 spaces away from the edge. Okay. But yeah, I could like move here and kite the boss this way. Okay, so let's say we're doing that. Okay, so then the tall grass, set up at least 4 spaces away from all tall grass. So these I can put wherever I want. They just have to be a distance from each other. So I want to kite the monster. And they have to be 4 spaces away from each other. And I have to start 6 spaces away from the monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I start here, I'll have enough space to move here and get it. Oh, wow. Learn to read the card. The dead monster, what it says at the top, if the dead monster is drawn during the showdown setup, which it was, survivors may start the showdown anywhere on the showdown board. And we have ambush. Holy shit. That changes things all together, man. Because what that means is I could have somebody start here, eat, and move. And other survivors could even start attacking and move or something. Holy shit. Because they act like the monster is eating this, and so you can move wherever you want because the monster doesn't notice you. So that means I can even start right next to the monster and do initial hits. Fuck, man. But see, this is part of the reason why I'm having this strategy during the hunt phase, because once we begin the showdown, it's really reactionary, whereas the initial setup and the strategy what you plan to do is really front-loaded to the showdown. Wow, this... Let me drink some coffee. This actually changes things. Like, I want to do battle over here, that way he gets trapped and I can keep hitting, so I don't waste turns moving. But, man, I have the opportunity to eat that initially and attack him initially, and that's also a good idea. Alright. So let's think about this. I can't place the tree here because then that's 5 spaces away. I could place the tree... Yeah, that's really the closest I can do because it's 5 spaces away. Then this has to be orthogonal. I'm just trying to see if there's a better way to do this. And I could start wherever I want. So I could start here, take it, and run away. And then, like with an archer, I could fire, use a dash, and run away. And the other people could be in the back. But it's like, God, man, I can have everyone start right next to the monster. And even on this, it says survivors go first. So it's like, if you get this card, it's like a free ambush, even though I already have ambush. But God, I feel like I should wail on the monster before I get... Man, it's a prime opportunity. Fuck. I just really wanted to be able to use this as a kiting mechanism. I think it'd be a crime not to do damage initially. Because I have so many times that I could just fucking straight up miss. Okay, so who's someone I don't want to get hit? I don't want the archer to get hit because I can attack at range and do a dash. I don't think I want to spend a dash. But like, I could attack at range and be ready to go around the corner sort of thing. And I can start wherever I want. And you can shoot 6 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the archer could start there. That way it will kite in this direction. Oh yeah, I still need to place these two also. And I can even have start evaded. I can do that too. Do something like that. And these have to be 4 spaces away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can even place one here. Or have one right next to the monster when I'm attacking. I can do something like that. Actually, if I have this be 3 spaces away, I could also pounce with the white line coat. I could go... Well, I guess I could potentially do that from any direction. Also true. 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, I could move this closer. I could do something like that. So that this way the archer's protected. I could have the guy pounce with an attack, and then I have my 2 people with super high evasion. The people with super high evasion should be in here. That way they can like guarantee a miss. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I could have one person's who has the highest evasion. The 2 with the guitars both have good evasion. So I'll have one closer to the butt in case it moves. And then the one that pounces will start here because it can run forward 3 spaces. But then you'll block line of sight here. But he can run forward from any direction. So I can even do it from here and pounce forward 3. And this kind of makes sense. Like, I mean, thematically, you have taking the forbidden fruit from the tree, the Adam and Eve story, and here you have, I went around the grass initially, and you see there's a dead body where he was eating and pooping, and then the berries may have been from the nightmare tree. Just thematically, it fits. Like, they didn't plan that way, but it's cool. I like it. All right, so he can pounce 3 away if I do that. He can attack and be evading. I'm just trying to think the most advantageous thing to do. If I have this farther up, this is 5 away. This way they can more easily get around the corner to hide. And this has to be orthogonal, which could be here, but then someone could eat it and then move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe I'll do that. Because I really want to get the monster stuck here. So it's battling like this way, back and forth. And this has to be 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually I could get this closer if I wanted to. That's as close as I can get. So it's more like she might loot and run away because she has pretty good evasion. So if she eats this and moves, she'll be hidden good. This guy will be at range to fire. He'll be at range to pounce, and he's going to attack from the side. That way, if someone draws any aggro, the monster will go this way to try to get him over here. Okay, I think that's going to be the setup. I'm not going to ever loot the tree, but I might hide in the grass. And so we'll have ambush when we start. So I'm going to use this, the flag that we have priority. And I'm going to choose who gets attacked first. The fact I want to aggro the monster, the first person to attack, I think I'm going to have be her, because they can always move in. I think I'll probably have be the dude here. Yeah, because the first attack I could do the clawhead arrow. Yep, that's exactly what I'll do. Plus this, I can also loot and run this way. That way if he charges, he only hits 1 person. Or it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and actually be behind. That way I'm in range to attack or something. I have options of movement. That way, because when he charges, if he goes 6, he'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could attack from here potentially. And I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, so the first one, the monster controller will be I'll have be I really want the person to get aggro to be this guy though. This person ideally I want to do an attack and then run away. So actually, if that's the case, if I'm going to do attack and run away, his evasion will just be 2, but that evasion will be 4. I don't know. technically I could have the line facing in direction, so I could say facing is actually here. Okay, so I'll have the first target be Elcor, that's the person that I want to get it. And then we have ambush, so we go first. I'll do that. Alright, so I'll commit to that. Hopefully that's good. With the idea that we get some attack, we get everybody to attack, all three to attack. This person will attack and run away to be in a good position if he gets charged. And she's gonna loot this and then run away, so if he gets charged, she can attack. So they'll both be on both sides of the tree. With the idea that if he stays there, she can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and re-engage and attack. Cool. All right, so now let me mark the board where everyone's going to start, and that will be the end of the session. And everyone is at 4 survival, except for the bow person is at 3, but it's still really good. So let's see what happens. The other thing I could do is I could have someone start in the butt, actually, since he's going to be doing an initial attack. He could start here. That way, since he's facing and right next to him, he'll get the initial attack. He'll be in a blind spot, she'll be far away, and he'll be hidden. So maybe actually that'll be set up. We'll commit to that. Because I really, of course, on the other hand, if I have him pounce from the back, and let's say it works, then the first target will actually be here, and he'll stay here. You know what I mean? The other strategy is if everyone's in the blind spot and or around the tree, and you have someone shooting from over here, then you know the monster's going to move this direction. And then you'll be close to that trap back here. I could also just do merry-go-round around this tree. I just don't want to have any wasted turns if possible engaging. So here I could hit in the butt and stay, loot and move, fire and be evading. And this person will move in, 3, slam. With the idea that next turn, they'll be here, he'll be here, he can move in from the butt too. Even moving from the side. I don't want to move from the side because I want someone to ram that direction. Because if he grabs and stuff... Well, no, if he grabs, he'll run in the opposite direction, actually. All right. We'll start with this. You can theorycraft this all you want. I don't know what the monster's going to do. That's a good general strategy. There's people that could evade, could do merry-go-round. I could loot this and then get into a defensive place. And I'll have 3 people attacking. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to flag where everyone started. And then where the monster started, which is pretty easy. The monster always starts in the same place. But I want to mark where it's facing to. So I'll do something like this. Show us what direction it's facing. Or actually, let's do that. And then we're going to start here. Am I missing one? Oh, these are the blue ones. Okay. There's one there. It doesn't say that I can't start in this. You just can't start somewhere that's impassable. So... that is where we're going to start. And the fact that I'm so into the strategy, like I said, it's most likely that I will, like I said, do this showdown later today. I just want to keep the stream separate, just because I'm really into, oh shit, theory crafting on, because I've seen a lot of the AI deck, how I think he's going to maneuver. But the fact that he can either charge or run away, it's hard to force someone, but merry-go-round will at least protect characters and at least have places I can hide. So we'll run with that. Cool. Well, then that's the end of the stream. Again, the next stream will be just the showdown. Everything's already set up, which most likely will be today. It could even be later this morning. We'll see, because I'm just really into, oh shit, we have this great opportunity to get free resources and just pummel this guy initially. Really excited about that. But yeah, that'll be Showdown will be the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll potentially see you really soon.